Many thanks to DayZ Podcast, Pandemonium, Lionloss, Gaming Can, Fit Attraction Vanilla servers, Redacted Vanilla servers, Atlas, Neo Farmer servers, and Mutated Jurassic Outbreak server for making this video possible. Very few players actually understand how these 5 stats work together due to how vague they are at telling us the condition of our character from moment to moment. So in this video we're going to be looking at every single negative and positive effect these stats can give us, break down exactly how blood and health regeneration works in DayZ, and go over how being too hot or cold punishes our characters even more now. Hunger and thirst are almost identical in nature, working together to regenerate our blood stat, which we'll get into later. For now though, there are many methods that DayZ uses to drain our hunger and thirst stat as we play, with the most prevalent among them being how fast we're currently moving. While not moving, we drain a very low base value of 0.01 hydration and energy per second, but even while walking, you drain over 10 times that amount per second, with jogging being 30 times that amount and sprinting draining 60 times the base amount in energy and hydration. So yes, both of them get drained at the same rate. However, like we discovered in a previous video, the more energy and hydration you have, the more you drain per second with any of these methods, up to a maximum of 100%. So for example, at 0 energy you drain the regular amount of 0.3125 per second while jogging, but at maximum energy you drain twice that amount while jogging instead, meaning you need twice the amount of food up here to sustain yourself compared to down here. How much energy and water you burn through cannot be changed, so making yourself heavier or lighter makes no difference to how much you drain in energy or hydration, and nor does using the stamina enhancing EpiPen. So unless you have a huge amount of food at your disposal, it's certainly not worth having an energy value higher than around 1000, as you only need this white apple icon to achieve the maximum blood regeneration in DayZ anyway. There are 3 stages when it comes to regenerating blood, with both hunger and thirst stats being white or above, regenerating 0.9 blood per second, with one of these being white and one of them being yellow, being half that amount at 0.45 per second, and if both are yellow you get 25% regen or 0.225 blood per second. However, if your hunger or thirst goes into the red, you will stop regenerating blood completely, so you cannot regenerate blood while one of these is red, regardless of how much you have in the other stat. Using this info, we know exactly how much blood we're currently regenerating just by looking at our hunger and our thirst stat icons down here, with being at 5000 energy or hydration being the exact same as being above 800. So if you've got 801 energy and 801 hydration, it's exactly the same as being at 5000 in both. So you only need to get these 2 icons to be at maximum blood regeneration. The amount of health damage we receive from being extremely hot or extremely cold has been increased by 50%. I'm not sure when this happened, so now it's 0.15 health per second, while red or dark blue temperature icon killing you in 11 minutes from full health. Being red hot also drains your water instead of your energy like it used to, as you can see here, now draining a huge 0.6 hydration from you per second while you're red, with being yellow draining 0.4 hydration instead. So that's still quite a lot for being in yellow, but being in yellow or light blue doesn't drain health from you. The only effect of being in light blue is minus 0.33 energy per second, but remember, energy is much more valuable than hydration. You can get hydration very easily from water sources, and this has been increased to 0.45 when you're in the dark blue for temperature. Blood is the most complex stat of these 5 due to how it works in line with the blood pressure stat and the 3 types of bleed in DayZ. Very confusing stuff, which I do go into a lot more detail here in this video. As for this video, you don't really need to know that stuff. Blood is the only stat in DayZ that impacts your regeneration of your health stat. That's what's important to take away from this video. When very low on blood, at 2500 blood, or the minimum amount of blood that you can have, you regenerate 0.005 health per second, which multiplies the closer you are to 5000 blood or full blood at 5000, up to a maximum of 0.03 health per second. Based on what we see in the game, we can split these into 5 different icons, and therefore you can see the differences between how much health you regenerate during each of these icons. This means at maximum blood you regenerate health 6 times faster than having low blood, making having high blood absolutely critical if you want to regen your health faster, with blood, as I said earlier, being regenerated fastest by having white hunger and white thirst, connecting these 4 stats together in a very clever way. Finally, for blood, having low or high blood doesn't change how much blood you regen per second. You can regen blood and therefore health faster indirectly using a saline IV or a blood bag IV. Having high or low health doesn't impact blood regen speeds. Only hunger and thirst dictates blood regeneration, and nor does how much shock damage you have either. So it's only hunger and thirst that changes how fast you regen blood. Health is the most important stat due to it being the stat that hits 0 the most often due to the nature of DayZ, but if you didn't know, you can also die when blood reaches 2500, which happens much less often. As you lose health, your run speed gets slowed when this yellow icon appears, reducing your jog speed by 14% and sprinting by 7%. At red health, both jogging and sprinting becomes 30% slower compared to being at the white stages, but flashing red gimps you the most by reducing your jog speed by 56% and your sprint speed by a huge 70%. This flashing red stage starts when you're below 15 health and makes sprinting almost completely useless compared to just jogging. As seen here from this test, jogging and sprinting have almost the exact same time over this short distance here. You might be slightly faster when sprinting, but it drains twice the hunger and thirst from you while draining your stamina too, so it isn't worth doing in my opinion. Additionally, in this flashing red stage you cannot climb or jump, but you can still vault and pick up heavy items, with climbing ladders being the exact same speed with 100 health and 1 health. Jumping from a height can drain your health stat, but it also drains your hidden bone stat too at the same rate that it removes health from your health stat, so while the health and bone stat are unrelated, they work together to break bones. Every time you hear this noise and get this animation, which starts happening at a very low height, your bone stat is taking damage relative to the amount of health that you lose. This bone stat then recharges very quickly while you don't have a broken leg, but as soon as you break a bone, it starts recharging 5 times slower, regardless if splinted or not. This means that you don't need a splint to heal a broken leg, making the splint basically a tool to avoid the shock damage of having a broken leg, which again, most importantly, doesn't heal a broken leg any faster than not having any splint applied at all. Finally, for this video, unlike blood, you will always regenerate health regardless of your other stats, so because you die very slowly from red hunger or red thirst, it takes a huge 83 minutes to die if one of them are red, or 24 minutes to die if both of them are red from full health. With all red hunger and thirst icons being exactly the same in terms of health loss, you don't drain more health with an empty apple or an empty bottle, or both of them being empty. This covers the 5 main stats in DayZ, and as you've just seen in this video, there is a lot of detail here and a lot to remember, so I've created a tool that can help you mimic the stats that you have in game currently, which then outputs the negative and positive effects to see how your character is currently being affected by your stats, including a breakdown of each stage of all 5 stats. If you want to go deeper into the stat rabbit hole, this video details how the blood stat works with blood pressure when it comes to bleeding. This video shows how the immune system works and becomes strengthened by these 4 stats, and these 2 videos would teach you how to keep the temperature stat white, which is the only way that you want to keep your temperature stat. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.